And as well, we will start our Facebook streaming too. There we go. And welcome Michelle Hemmer to the studio. Michelle, we appreciate you being back in here. You've been here before with us, and we get a chance to talk about Memorial Day coming up on Monday, right?
Yes. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me on here.
Hey, thanks for being here as well. Let's talk about, some people confuse Veterans Day and Memorial Day. We want to obviously make sure that we clarify that, but we also want to talk about some of the events that are taking place this weekend and obviously Monday for Memorial Day. And I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, that you and I were chatting, and there wasn't a parade, and people were asking, hey, was there going to be a parade for Memorial Day? And that's back. It was back last year too.
This year will be the first year back.
First year back. Okay, all right. So maybe I'm confusing things a little bit, but let's not confuse things. Memorial Day, take us through that if you don't mind.
Well, the first reminder is that Armed Forces Day is to recognize the service members currently serving. Mm-hmm. Memorial Day is recognizing service members who died while in service, and Veterans Day in November is for service members who can put in past tense that they served. Mm-hmm. So that clarification is out there. And
because when we get to Memorial Day, we're not saying Happy Memorial Day, because it's a somber day in our lives, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a holiday, but it's not like your Christmas celebratory. It's an honor recognition day.
Yeah. So. And I know every year when we do gather, and there's multiple locations and there's multiple communities that are honoring those service members that were lost. We know Custer has service. We have two services here in the Ludington area, one at the courthouse and then one at Veterans Memorial Park, right?
Veterans Mall in Stearns Park.
See, I'm still learning. But so take us through that, and then how we can be involved with this.
So our local veteran organizations are putting these events on, mm-hmm. and they keep nominating me as one of their organizers. And so here in Ludington, at the courthouse, we have the Fallen Heroes Memorial, and there is listed in the bronze plaques the 181 names of people from Mason County who died in service. And so we will have a short ceremony there. This year we are adding one more element and actually reading the names out loud. And but it's because it's the place where we have the names. That's the place that we can recognize people. But it's on Ludington Avenue, so it's not the best place to have a full gathering for the community because it's a busy road and all that. So 9:45 will be that ceremony, and then at 10:15 the parade will step off, and the parade goes from Row Street between the courthouse and Stearns Hotel, down Ludington Avenue to Lakeshore Drive, ending at the Veterans Mall in Stearns Park. Okay. And then at 11 o'clock, it will be the bigger ceremony and held right there, like I said, at Veterans Mall.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing the reading of the names, because I remember in previous years, it seems like it's a very short ceremony there, quick ceremony, but there's so much significance right there at that part, right there, right?
Yes. I was able to be part of that committee that put that memorial together, and basically almost every county in the country has some sort of centralized memorial to honor those that have passed. And so that's what's significant about that, is it's got the names of our actual brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Has anybody been recently added to that?
The last person added was Joe Lancour, and he passed. He was in Afghanistan, and if you please, I encourage everybody to go visit that memorial. And if you'll notice that there is one plaque that is completely blank, and because we recognize if you have any inkling of how the world history has gone, we will have future conflicts.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So we have that blank plaque in case we need to add any more names.
Yeah, and let's
hopefully we don't
try to avoid that as much as possible. If you're just joining us, Michelle Hemmer is here with us in the studio. What is your official title when it comes to this?
My official hat is a member of the American Legion. And we had an organization, the Mason County Allied Veterans Council, because we had multiple veteran organizations in the county, and they were the one voice for all of them. Well, now we're down to two veteran organizations: the American Legion Post 76 here in Ludington, and the Custer VFW Gold Bar Post.
And that is because we're losing our
people aren't involved as much in service organizations, and there's I couldn't tell you what the census is of overall veterans in the country. World War II had such a big impact, of course, and that's when a lot of these veteran organizations were spearheaded, was because of World War II. Yeah,
but I can tell you this is that even right here, just kitty corner from the radio station, for the start of the ceremonies there at the courthouse lawn, there's quite a few people that show up for that event, for that part of it, and they walk the parade route down to Stearns Beach, and so there's a lot of dedication there, isn't there?
Yes, that short ceremony has grown and grown and grown. We never knew what to do with it. We just knew we wanted to have something there. And seeing the community want to be part of that also just touches my heart. And it shows that people want to recognize who we've lost in this community.
Now, the service members, the veterans, they are transported, at least from what I saw in the past, right, with a bus or some sort of...
Correct. We have, so the American Legion has this wonderful little float that we encourage our members. And hey, if you really want to be part of the parade and you're not in marching condition, and but as a veteran, we'll take you on that float. It's more about recognizing that we've got veterans in our community.
That's right.
And then we try to have a convertible or a Jeep recognizing a member of the wars and conflicts that we might have somebody in the community. Unfortunately, World War II is down to just a couple of people in this community, and they're not always able to come out. But recognizing Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf War, and of course, War on Terror between Iraq and Afghanistan. Women veterans, we may or may not have an entry recognizing Gold Star families, which is a family that has lost that family, the family member in service.
Yeah. And this happens, a majority of those parts of the ceremony or the presentation of the wreaths, right? Again, don't let me confuse Veterans Day and Memorial Day, but at Memorial Day, at the ceremony at Stearns, there, you do have speakers that come up, right?
Correct.
Okay, and take us through what the plan is for that.
So the service starting at 11 o'clock at Veterans Mall there in Stearns Park will showcase. We'll have, of course, the national anthem, and the Ludington High School band will participate and bless us with the playing of the different service songs. And then in the Ludington High School choral group will also be present this year, singing a patriotic song.
And by the way, let's stop right there for just a moment, is that when that happens and you see the members of that particular branch of this service stand up and start, or be, just, you can see that it connects with them instantly, doesn't it?
Instantly, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, The service song is like a college fight song. You're very proud of what you were a part of. So yes, when we play your service song, if you are a veteran in the audience, please recognize yourself. And then we will have a guest speaker. And I'm going to wrap around to that in a minute.
Okay.
But and then we'll lay wreaths recognizing the wars and conflicts that we had somebody from Mason County pass from it, or during.
Yeah.
So that starts with Civil War. Do we have a Civil War representative? No, but we'll take a veteran and lay a wreath for that.
And you have the Boy Scouts that are a big part of this?
Yep, the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts are there. Community involvement starts in childhood at a young age, and they're two great organizations that showcase, hey, this is what it's like to be getting involved in the community, and we're so happy to have them, help us out.
This is again coming up this Monday, and so you have in the 9:00 hour. Break down the times for us one more time.
9:45 will be the start of the ceremony at Fallen Heroes Memorial.
Okay.
At Courthouse. Step off of the parade is at 10:15, and the big ceremony at Veterans Mall is at 11 o'clock.
Okay, and you have a special speaker there.
Yes, this year's speaker is Pete Ingblade. Okay. And many people in this community know Pete. He is an Army veteran. He was in the artillery during the Vietnam era, was sent to Vietnam. And then he became a police officer, and most people know him as working for the Ludington Police Department. He left LPD as a captain, and I believe 26 years, and then worked for the state after that. And now he also has another role as associate pastor at Our Savior Lutheran Church. Okay,
all right. So obviously we're looking forward to his comments and his speech there, and it really is. You look at it as sort of the celebration of those that have been lost and that have fought and have provided such freedoms for us.
Exactly.
But it's also a moment to look around and recognize who's still with us too, right? Isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I will tell you that most veterans, we don't like to have anyone say thank you to us, but if a community member wants to provide recognition, we're not going to shoot that down.
No, of course not.
Or anything. Yeah. But, it also brings up, and this could be a whole nother topic, but the fact that I don't want to say we, but many veterans still carry a lot of baggage, a lot of ghosts, and there's recognition to be given to those that maybe succumb to those ghosts. And there's lots of organizations out there that I've been part of that we, try to stop that, from anyone just not being able to deal with it anymore.
Correct. Yeah. And it's important to have that conversation. It's important to recognize that. As a veteran, because you were in the Army? I
was in the Army.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to remember. And as a veteran there, what does this mean for you personally? What do you think it means for others that surround us? I can tell you from somebody that was not in the military, looking from it as an outsider in, you brought up a couple of points that definitely hits home when you are at these services, and that is because they talk about it in the speeches about being in action, being there and losing friends, family members after the fact when they're out of service. As you mentioned, sometimes the buildup. We talk about service veterans and suicide. That is something that we have to continue to have a conversation with. But when you hear these stories at these services, it's so detailed in that sense that you feel like you're there, but you're not. Do you know what I mean? And so for you, for being in those conflicts and you knowing others that have, what does that mean for you? I was sent to, I was in the Michigan National Guard,
And I was part of a unit that deployed to Iraq. And fortunately, my company did not suffer any casualties. But knowing the danger that, we were in, the crazy circumstances and a lot of the what ifs. I am so grateful that I was, able to come out of that, intact and well. And so it kind of has driven me to recognize those sacrifices, therefore, of the fallen, because I was so close, I'm not going to, try to say that my life was in any more danger than others or anything like that. And there is so many avenues of being in the service, and you may not be right on the front lines.
Yeah, correct.
And not everyone is going to be. But it's just always driven me to want to be involved, and, somebody's got to pick up those reins and keep it going, and making sure that the community understands, you will never understand what a veteran experiences.
Won't ever. Exactly.
Unless you actually have served. But this is just one little way to my involvement with veteran activities in general. Just it's community awareness all the time. And we're not asking for sympathy or anything like that. No. It's just recognize that, there are jobs out there, policemen and firefighters and first responders, correctional workers that, they put their lives in danger every day when they, go to their jobs. And I keep the, community aware. So I think I answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it leads us back and circles back around that, for these individuals at these ceremonies, those are buddies that they lost. Those are friends. Those, I think it was last year talking about family members, brothers that are lost and such, and I can't say it hits home because we haven't experienced it, as you mentioned, but you sort of feel at these ceremonies that you can kind of put yourself in their shoes just for that second, isn't it?
Right. And hopefully veterans can find maybe a little bit of healing themselves at this service. I know that all the wonderful individuals I've met in my life that are fellow service members. It's just, we have this bond, and when I do see them on these special days, it's always a little bit of healing, and I hope that I can provide that. And I have a very, very good friend, a Vietnam veteran. And yes, obviously age difference, but that doesn't matter. And he never spoke about his service. He was in it quite thick while in Vietnam, and never talked about it. Never even told anyone that really that's what he did. And when the Mason County when the Vietnam traveling wall came to Mason County, he started opening up, and it brought healing to him. And he has been able to embrace his status as a veteran and as a Vietnam veteran. And I'm so proud of him. And he's going to be mad if he sees this. but so hopefully there's some healing too amongst us veterans on that day.
And you're right. I mean, I think there's a respect out there as we wrap up this morning, and we'll just kind of go down the timeline one more time before we do. But I think there's an understanding and a respect for those that did not serve, of those that have served, that you don't push them. That's what they hold true to them, and what they talk about or what they don't talk about.
Correct.
And you hear it as well with even their close family members that they don't share, because I mean that's a tough part of their life, and especially when you lose, like I said, friends, family. I mean, buddies, and it's not always what we see in the movies, right?
Correct.
And it's rarely sometimes in that sense. But it's good to hear the stories during these services like this coming up on Monday. So Michelle, do us a favor, break those times down one more time.
Certainly. At 9:45 at the Fallen Heroes Memorial at the Mason County Courthouse will be a short ceremony, and then at 10:15 the parade will step off from the courthouse to down Ludington Avenue to Stearns Park, and then at 11 o'clock at the Veterans Mall in Stearns Park will be the big ceremony.
Okay, and we'll bring that live to you as we've done the last few years to stream it live for those that can't make it in that sense. But it would be important for the community to be there. Michelle, I have only one last question, and I don't know if it's in the public realm about Youpers for you, but who's gonna wear this hat?
Oh my goodness, yes. This is my last year as the big coordinator, and I'm sure I will be consulted next year. I can't tell you who will be the main wrangler. So if you're listening and I've had to ask you for anything in the past, bear with us and as we make that transition.
How many years have you been doing this now?
I've been trying to figure that out. I know it's been over 10.
Wow.
So
wow.
I've been very privileged. I'm honored to be part of this community. I love this community, even though I'm leaving this community very soon. This place is in my heart, and I love my veterans and just want to be always there to help.
Yeah, well, thank you on behalf of everybody out there, the community, and I'm sure the service members are no doubt appreciative of you and what you have brought to the table. And you know what? The UP to West Michigan, not too bad of a drive. You can always come back down. But again, on a serious note, thank you for all that you have committed to over the years. We appreciate you. It is 9:55 here on 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. If you missed any of this segment, you can watch it in its entirety on our Facebook pages or our YouTube channel. Make sure you do that. And we'll put the list of times as well and events in the comment section of our Facebook pages in